Hello, friends. Happy November. It's actually November 10th, though. I had plans to try vlogging a vlog style wrap up of my November reading every day or every week in November. And then the first week of November just did not go to plan, as so many things don't. I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, it is Wednesday, November 10th. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I am getting ready to leave for my last day of work for the next 5 days. Yay! So, tomorrow is Veterans Day here in the States, and with my job, that means that I get the day off. So since that's a Thursday, I just decided I was going to take Friday off, and I had already planned to take Monday off. So I have 5 whole days off of work. I can't wait. I know that that's going to mean fixing, oh sorry, I'm so shaky this morning. I know that's going to mean fixing a lot of things that went wrong when I get back to work, because just for reasons. But I don't care. We're not thinking about that. So what I thought randomly this morning was, since I haven't been vlogging, I would vlog my staycation and tell you what I read, because I'm planning on doing a lot of at least audiobook reading while I do other things for my staycation, and maybe show you what I've been crafting on and all the things. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm confident at this point. So later on in the day, I will kind of collect my thoughts, because I just literally decided to do this 5 minutes before I got in the car. So I will collect my thoughts and tell you about the first week of November and what I read in the first week, since I did not vlog. I don't really have a specific TBR for this month, so hence why I didn't film a TBR video, but you know, I have the various readathons and things in my head, so I have books that I want to read for that, so we will talk about that. So anyway, I better get to work, and I hopefully will talk to you in a few hours. Oh, hello neighbor. All right, bye. Hello friends, welcome to Staycation Day 1. It is November 11th, it is Veterans Day, so thank you all so much for your service. If you are former military, current military, in the reserves, all of that. Thank you so much for your service. So anyway, I am off work today for Veterans Day. My job gets that day off, and then I decided to take Friday off and Monday off, just to give myself a staycation and get a lot of crafting and reading done, and also housework, because I think I said in my first clip that my original idea for this month was to just film like throughout the month little clips of what I read, and the beginning of the month was super crazy and kind of not what I expected it to be. Nothing bad, but just a lot of things came up that just made filming and honestly reading kind of hard. So I'm just going to do this staycation vlog and we'll go from there. So anyway, well, first I'll explain. You probably saw in the last clip, hopefully, that I did some scripture journaling this morning. I have been doing a scripture writing challenge with a couple of friends on Instagram, and that has been going really well. I like to kind of decorate my pages. I've been using this Trades of Hope journal that my friend Kim, I think she got this one for me. Either that or I bought it from one of her parties where she was selling these things for a while. I can't remember. I know she gave me one of them, but that I have two of them. But this has like that handmade paper that is kind of hard to write on, and it doesn't have any lines or anything like that. So it's a little bit difficult for me to use, if I'm honest. But I have been trying to use it for the remainder of this year before I start into anything else. And my friend Jessica on Instagram asked if anybody wanted to join a scripture writing program challenge for the month of November, because November is typically the month that at least we as Americans think of for thinking about what we're grateful for, because American Thanksgiving is at the end of November. So I jumped on board because I knew that I was kind of slacking in my Bible reading and, all that entails. So I needed to jump back into it, and I knew being in a group would kind of hold me accountable to do those things. And it's really worked so far. I am kind of using this as a combination of scripture writing, journaling, prayer journaling, and just like morning pages, which, near as I can tell, morning pages are where you just sit down and write. I think it's typically like 3 pages of stream of consciousness thought every morning. I don't always do that. I don't always do 3 pages, not even in this little journal, but I will like just journal. So it's kind of getting me back into that game. I still have, I don't know, you can't really tell, but I think I'm only like to here in this journal. So I still have a lot to go. But maybe by the end of the year, I can get this done, and then I can move on to my next journal, which is not as fancy as this, but might be a little bit easier for me to write in. So, oh, and I decided to use my fun dip pen that my friend Marcia gave me, which I haven't cleaned off yet, but let me show you. Apparently, I have a fountain pen, but that's, honestly, it's a little bit of a pain for me, and it's messy to refill the ink every time, and it doesn't last very long. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but she got me this dip pen, and it's really pretty. And I think just off of Amazon, and you just dip it in the fountain pen ink and it holds it and it writes. That's amazing to me. I mean, there's science involved, I'm sure, but it's amazing to me. So looks like I'm stabbing myself in the nose, but okay. So anyway, let's talk about what I am reading. So during my kind of early morning Bible reading time, I also was reading one of the essays in Letters to a Diminished Church by Dorothy L. Sayers. And this is like a read along with some people on YouTube. And honestly, I can't even remember who all is hosting this read along, but I know Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia has been reading it, and she might even be one of the hosts. I honestly don't know. I have to look all that up. I cannot remember. So anyway, that book has been really interesting so far. It is kind of reminding me of Mere Christianity a little bit, that I reread earlier in the year with Krista from Books and Jams and a bunch of people. And it's kind of talking about what we as Christians kind of believe as far as doctrine. And just so far, it's talking about like if we are Christians, we've kind of lost our awe of the Gospels, and it's just kind of become old news to us. And we kind of stop thinking about it a lot. We're just like, yeah, that, God saved us, blah, blah, blah. And that should not be the way it is. So we should always find awe in that, and gratefulness and thankfulness for what he has done for us and what he continues to do for us. So I'm really appreciating this book so far, and it's been a pretty easy read so far. So I've only read a couple of the essays so far. So and the second one was a little bit more dense, I would say, but still, like, the main points of it I got. So but yeah, let's talk about what I read in the first week, because it wasn't much. I read for the Historiathon, there's like numbers after it, but it's like it was like a 10-day readathon that Amanda from the Curly Reader did. And I think Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library hosted the Historiathon 2.0 or something like that, because they're trying to switch up the timing of when they do a month long. So they just did a 10-day long readathon, and I read Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rees. Is that how you pronounce that last name? I have never known how to pronounce this spelling of this word. But anyway, this is a Jane Eyre retelling of sorts, or like a prequel to Jane Eyre, told from the perspective of different characters. And I don't want to say too much because it will totally ruin the surprise of Jane Eyre if you have never read Jane Eyre. So definitely do not read this book if you haven't read Jane Eyre. I would say if you did not know that this was a precursor to Jane Eyre, you might be able to read it and like not put two and two together, really, I guess. But if you know and you haven't read Jane Eyre yet, don't read this. It was good. It was, I don't know, there were, definitely different perspectives. There was nothing really happy that ever happened in it. It was very like just sadness. And I mean, it was kind of about Jamaica and the slave, like right in the aftermath of the emancipation of the slaves in Jamaica, but how, they were obviously still treated as second-class citizens, but there were some uprisings and things like that of the plantation, or of the former slaves, with the plantation owners. So it was a lot about that, which, obviously that is an important piece of history. But I think I would have liked more of an actual retelling during the events of Jane Eyre. This only had a small section that actually happened simultaneously with the events of Jane Eyre, but most of it was a precursor. So I think I just went into it not really knowing how much of it was going to be a retelling and how much of it was just going to be like additional info, kind of a thing. So I liked it, gave it 3 stars. Probably won't read it again. Probably gonna unhaul this copy. I just don't need it on my shelves. I didn't like it enough to keep it on my shelves. So that was the only thing I got read for Historiathon, but I kind of figured that was going to happen unless I listened to an audiobook, which I didn't even have a chance really to do that in the first week. So, but since then, I have, for Nonfiction November, started the audiobook Cork Dork by Bianca Bosker, I think is her name. I'll, put the picture up here somewhere. And this is a nonfiction about the wine snob community, basically, sommeliers, and kind of how they train and how they just are obsessed with wine. And yeah, it is really, really interesting, but I'm I think the author actually narrates the audiobook that I'm listening to. And she would know how she expects these characters to sound, these people to sound, and they do just really sound snobby, and I'm having a hard time kind of relating to them, because I love wine, don't get me wrong, but I love it as a normal person that doesn't have all that training and obsession loves it. Like, I like to drink it and I like the way it tastes. I have my likes and my dislikes, but I don't get that far into it. But I do find it really interesting. There's some science-y bits to it that are kind of a little bit boring to me. I'm not really into all that. But listening to it on audiobook is helpful, because I can glaze over at the parts that I find boring. And, but yeah, that side of life is interesting to me, and how people can be that crazy over wine. And yeah, it's interesting. So let's see, what else am I reading? Oh, and I also started with my friend Amanda from her Pacific Northwest Washington life, and Tara from Buzzwords Books. We started the 5th and, for now, final book in the Sloane Krause series, and that is A Cure for What Ails You. This is a cozy mystery series that centers around craft brewing in the real-life town of Leavenworth, Washington, which is near where my friend Amanda lives. So someday, when traveling is easier, I will go there and I will visit Amanda and we will walk around Leavenworth. And so far, all 3 of us are loving this book, and we really, really, really need someone to pick up this series, because Ellie Alexander has said that her current publisher, I guess, is not going to be continuing on with the series, and there's only 5 books in the series so far, and that is unacceptable. I'm just saying, unacceptable. So I have absolutely no clout at all, but it needs to continue on, because I love these characters. The storyline of this one so far is like really intense. I can't really say much about it without spoiling it, but so far there is like potentially, there has been a murder, of course, but it almost seems like it might be a side plot to the potential of murder potential of murder of one of the main characters. Well, the main character. So basically, she's trying to avoid being murdered and having her family murdered, and it's very intense. So I need this series to continue. And what else? I already talked about Diminished Church. I need to start Light of Heaven. Light from Heaven? Yes, Light from Heaven by Jan Karen, because the Mitford read along that I'm co hosting with Kate Howe, Chelsea, and Angie from Literary Laborers is restarting again after taking some time off in, I can't remember if we took off for September and October or just October, but we are restarting that read along. And I looked at my calendar today and I have like a week to read that book before our live show on the 18th. So I need to get with it. So luckily I have 5 days off, so maybe I can actually do it. So I think that's it. Now I am going to maybe do some cross stitch. Oh, if you can see, you see these two cases here that just have nothing in them? That is where my Alice and the Flamingos is going to go, and also eventually my Jane Eyre cross stitch. So if you needed some context to what I'm going to do with these, this is my plan to put them in these. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm gonna go do some cross stitch, I think, and I probably should do some laundry. But I might wait on that for a little bit and just like enjoy my day off. I am going to DJ trivia tonight with my family. We were doing that every week for a while, but then, life got busy and we kind of stopped for a while, but we're going to go again tonight. So that'll be good. That's always a fun time. So we feel really stupid at the end, but sometimes we get some right and then we feel really smart. I think we only won like the first time we went. And then after that, like we'll get close to winning, but then we'll like really take a dive bomb towards the end and we end up in like last place. So, but it's fun. But anyway, this clip is really super long. So I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you, I gave myself a present for this week, and it is in that box. I'm going to set it up, hopefully, and then I will show you what it is. Yay! Okay, so here is my new present to myself, all put together. If you don't know what this is, I will tell you. It is a yarn swift, an Amish yarn swift. So, which means that I guess that it doesn't have anything that I have to like screw together and hardware and stuff. It just all fit together with pegs. So, and you put the yarn, your hank of yarn on here and, like loop it around, and it has different lengths. I'm not sure what length I'm going to need, but I guess I'll figure it out. And then you attach one part side of your yarn to this ball winder thingy, and then it spins as you wind your yarn. So it's not as big as I thought it would be. I thought I was going to have to like take off my decorations and stuff. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call. Okay, sorry, friends. It is quite a while later. I got cut off by a phone call, and then I had to run to the store. So we're back now, and let me just tell you, this right here is the best money I've ever spent, knitting-wise. This is, okay, so previously, when you would get these hanks of yarn, they are like this, so they're all twisted up. And I was just doing this kind of by hand and trying to keep it from getting tangled. I would just like lay it out on my table in kind of a round and like try to bring the yarn around and not get it tangled while I was using this thing. Very difficult to do. I just did this with this in probably like half the time. maybe even less time than that. So yeah, basically you just kind of put the yarn hank on there, you clip a couple of ties that it has on it, and then you kind of wind it into this thing, which I already had. And now I did the first one wrong because I wasn't putting any tension on it for a while, but I think it ended up turning out okay once I realized I still had to be holding the yarn, and and then you just crank that little thing there, and it winds it into a cake, and this thing will turn in the direction of the yarn, so I don't have to be doing this the whole time and like unwinding things. Guys, it's a game changer. I'm gonna have all of my sweater yarn for National Knit a Sweater Month yarn things. I'm gonna have them all wound up like that in like a day, and I'll be ready to go when I'm ready for a new cake. So exciting. Hello. It is day 2 of Staycation 2021, and I have not filmed anything all day. Well, that's a lie. I just finished filming a floss tube episode. So if you don't know, which you probably do if you watch my channel, I also film cross stitch and knitting videos on my channel now. So today I had a lot of stuff to talk about. So I went ahead and filmed a floss tube after I was done with a book. So then I completely forgot about updating you on the book that I read, or that I finished. So I will do that right now. I finished A Cure for What Ails You by Ellie Alexander, and this is the 5th book in her excuse me, in her Sloane Krause mystery series. According to the author, this is the last book for now. Apparently, the publisher has decided not to renew the series, which is a travesty. So I am very much hoping that a new publisher picks up that series. I don't really know how that all works, but I feel like we need to continue this series because after reading the series, holy cow, or this book, holy cow, it was a 5-star cozy mystery for me. And it was just action-packed and intense, and I feel like it tied up enough that like if that was the end, it would be like, okay. But I also feel like I want more. Like it left enough hanging out there that it needs to be continued, I feel like. So I really hope that it is. And maybe even this publisher will decide they made a mistake and bring it back. I hope. But yeah, this is just really good. It takes place in the town of Leavenworth, Washington, which is a real place, and it follows Sloane Krause, who is a divorced woman in her, well, I think she's separated at this point, but she's like a newly separated mother in her 40s who is part of the craft brewing operation tradition in Leavenworth, Washington. So it centers around craft brewing and tourism in that town. And yeah, it's a good group of characters. I really have liked all of her characters. I mean, not necessarily liked them like in their personalities, but I really enjoy the cast of characters in the town, and the mysteries are just always really interesting. And Ellie Alexander just she's very good at describing the town so that you can just see it. And I mean, obviously Leavenworth is a real place. So you could just get on the internet and Google pictures of Leavenworth. But even without doing that, you can really get a sense of what the town is like. And I buddy read this with my friend Amanda and Tara. Tara is from Buzzwords Books, and Amanda is from her Pacific Northwest Washington life. And Amanda actually lives near the town of Leavenworth, Washington. So Tara and I would really like to get out there to visit Amanda and visit Leavenworth, since we have read, I think we read the entire series so far together. So that would be really great to be able to go out there and do kind of a brewing tour. um, Amanda actually does not drink beer, and I don't even think she really drinks wine. I drink both, obviously. We've established that. And Tara really likes wine. But I think she'll also drink beer. But even without that, it just seems like it's a really charming German town. So I think it would just be fun for all of us to be there and to experience that. Yeah, I'm really excited to plan a trip out there at some point. And I've already met Amanda in real life, but I haven't actually met Tara in real life yet. So I really need to do that at some point, because meeting my booktube friends is like the highlight of my life. So, because you feel like they're friends, but especially when you're my age, it's kind of like this weird thing to have people that you consider actual friends that you've never met. I mean, I kind of try to consider it like it is a pen pal. You know how we all used to have pen pals that we would write to when we were young. So it's kind of the same idea, but also it's kind of like it almost has that stigma of like meeting people on the internet. Like, how do you know what they're really like, But I feel like in this case, we could be fairly well established on like that we're not serial killers. But I guess you never know. But yeah, it's fun to actually meet the people that I see on the other side of the screen and I talk to, but never have actually like met in real life. So, but anyway, that's my clip for today, because yesterday's clips were pretty long. I might not be able to update you tomorrow. I'm visiting with some family, and it would be weird for me to film during that, because these people I don't think they know that I do this, and they wouldn't really understand, I don't think. So I probably won't update you tomorrow. But I will try to get in touch with you again on Sunday and Monday. So, all right, I'll talk to you Sunday. All right, bye. Hello, friends. I was almost going to say good morning, but it's not. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, November 15th. And this is my last day of my staycation. Sad. Oh man, why aren't vacations ever long enough? I mean, I technically haven't worked for 5 days, because I was off for Veterans Day on Thursday, took Friday off, then, of course, the weekend, and then today. So 5 days. I mean, that would have been, I guess if I had taken a full actual week off of work, I would have had a lot longer because I would have had 2 weekends, like book ending that vacation. So in retrospect, that might have been an issue to resolve next year. But oh well. Um, so today I am just having, I mean, let's be honest, every day for me is a me day because it's just me. But I do what I want when I want, pretty much, except for the whole work thing. But today was kind of like a dedicated me day where I just sat around and didn't, well, I can't say I sat around. I did laundry because I need to. And I emptied my dishwasher and put new dishes into that dishwasher. So I did do a little bit of housework. So it was basically like every other day off. But I basically listened to half of an audiobook and finished it. I started a group read early this morning, and I did a heck of a lot of cross stitching. So let me show you at least my cross stitch, I guess. Okay, wait. So first of all, let me talk to you about the book that I read and finished in the last 2 days because I did not update you yesterday. I read the entirety, well, read as in I listened to on audiobook, the entirety of Light from Heaven by Jan Karon. This is the 9th book in the Mitford Years series. We are starting our read along of that. We took, I think it was a couple of months off, just for various other reasons, and we are starting back up in November, and we're going to be having our live show on the 18th, I believe, at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so I read the entirety of this book while cross-stitching and doing housework, which is kind of my favorite way to consume books these days. This one was just so great. So great. It tied up a lot of loose ends. There was a lot of sadness, but also just a lot of things got revealed. There was a new location, but I actually really enjoyed this location. They were like Father Tim follows a man named Father Tim and his wife, and he is now a retired pastor, but he does kind of like interim pastor jobs different places for like a year at a time now. So we're not like solely in Mitford anymore. But so he, at this point, he is staying at a farm not far from where he lives in Mitford, but he and his wife are staying at a farm and like kind of farm sitting, which is an actual thing because I have a friend in real life who does that. And he is called to kind of restart up a church in the Appalachian Mountains, I believe. I think it's the Appalachians. I'm not sure. Yes, I'm pretty sure. So it's very backwoodsy, and he meets, a lot of interesting characters, and I just really liked these people. He was at another place that was kind of by the coast before, and I just could not really get into those characters. I didn't really feel like we got a lot of depth from those characters, but these characters I definitely felt for them and liked their personalities, and we got almost all of our old characters from Mitford still, which maybe was what that other book was lacking when he was in Whitecap, I believe was the town before, that you didn't get any of the old characters. You'd maybe get a phone message or a letter from them, but they didn't like interact with the new characters because it was so far away. So for this one, everybody kind of interacted, and it was really good. So I really enjoyed it. And while I was listening to the last half of that book today, I worked on this pattern, a new start for me called Oh My Darling. Or no, nope. Sorry, it's called Beautiful Things. And I really enjoy this sentiment. And I may have said before, but this day, the 15th, is an anniversary of a kind of crappy thing that happened to me. So I won't go into details, but this was a good sentiment for kind of how I tend to feel on this day. I mean, I'm fine today. I mean, it's been 5 years, so I'm fine. But I still like to make this day as kind of like a me day. And I do still think about this a lot. So I feel like this is a good thing for me to start on this day. So, and this is as far as I've gotten so far today, and I probably will work on it a little bit more today. This is the flower. So I've worked on, I've worked on the petals of this flower, but I apparently did not buy the yellow for the what's that called? The middle of the flower. So I'm going to run to Michael's here in a little bit and get that, and then I'm going to try to actually do the entire top half of the flower today, I think. So let's see, other than that, what have I done? Oh, I had to reposition my arm. The other book that I started today was the group read for the Fall Into Reading Challenge that I co-host with Tia from Tia and All the Books, Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly, and Angie from Literary Labors. And we are reading for the group read this month, and this is the last month of the Fall Into Reading Challenge. We're reading A Study in Scarlet Women by, I don't remember the author's name, so I'll put a picture here. But I'm also listening to this on audiobook, and we read the first 2 chapters today. Went really quickly, and I think I'm really going to like it. It's set in Victorian England, and it centers around a woman named Charlotte. And she, I believe, is the niece of Sherlock Holmes, I think. But it's pretty much a feminist, retelling of like it's not even a retelling. It's like a reimagining, I guess, of a Sherlock Holmes type of a thing. So it's, obviously it's gender bent because we're going to have this Charlotte Holmes person being the sleuth or the detective. I'm sure we haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure that's what's going to happen. And yeah, she is just a kind of a spinster, and she kind of gets caught in a compromising position, and her family is really mad about it, and so she kind of like strikes out on her own. She doesn't want to get married, and now it might seem like that's not going to be an option anyway. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, but we're only 2 chapters in, so I can't really say much more than that. But yeah. All right. Well, I think I am going to end my staycation vlog. I know probably, I mean, it's going to be long because I ramble, but I know I didn't really go into too much detail about my vacation, but that was pretty much just because I did a lot of cross stitching. I did a little bit of visiting with family, which was nice. And yeah, that was pretty much about it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I ended up finishing 2 full books in the span of 5 days, so that's nice. Yeah, so I feel like I got a lot of accomplished that way. I got a lot of my cross stitch projects worked on and some knitting projects worked on. So yeah, I feel like it was a good 5 days. I wish it was longer, but oh well, I gotta pay the bills somehow. So gotta pay for all these cross stitch things that I do. So all right, friends, I'll talk to you in my next video at some point. All right, friends, bye.